So the next step was to establish ground rules. Both partners agreed that they needed some ground rules to keep their talks constructive and on point. Rule 1 was to remove distractions while talking. No phones, no TV, no devices. Rule 2, no name calling and no profanity. 3, only talk when holding the talking stick. 4, if one partner said they needed a break, the other partner had to respect it. If a partner took a break, they needed to give an estimate of how long they'd be gone and say when they would return. Number 6 was if both partners agreed to table the discussion and come back to it at a later date, they would put the return visit on their schedules. Number 7 was that neither partner could hold the floor talking stick for more than 2 minutes at a time. 8, if a partner made the T for time out sign, that meant a question or clarification was requested and they would be given the talking stick for that purpose. If a momentary break was needed to practice anti-flooding strategies, they agreed to use a take a break sign of live long and prosper from Star Trek when either was having trouble returning to a comfortable baseline. They would take a moment to check in internally, take some deep breaths and stretches before returning to the conversation in a more relaxed and slower paced way. They jokingly started calling Mark number 1 and Lisa Deanna Troi from Star Trek as a way to use humor as another de-escalation strategy. They were surprised and delighted to find healthy ways to use humor and laugh with each other as a gentle way to de-escalate. Number 9 was to stick to the subject at hand. 10, discussions would usually last 15 to 30 minutes. More time could be added only when both partners agreed to it. 11 was reconnecting at the end of the dialogue. They were to look each other in the eye and make an affirmation about the relationship and the benefit of the dialogue, such as, I love you and I appreciate your willingness to listen to me today. Last of all was to establish regular meeting times to work on the relationship without distractions. The next step we worked on was called Bids&Turns. Maintaining a deep and abiding interest in your partner is a really important part of emotional intimacy. The research of Drs. John and Julie Gottman, 2 of the world's paramount relationship experts, can predict which couples will stay married and which will get divorced with a high degree of accuracy based on how the partners speak to and respond to one another and handle conflict and negative affect. The studies have identified what they call bids and turns as key factors in relationship success. A bid is anything your partner does that asks for a positive connection with you. Turning toward the bid means that you respond with attention, affirmation, interest, positive action, or just simple compliance with the request that was made. Turning against means you respond negatively with rejection, contempt, criticism, or aggression. Turning away means not responding at all. This can happen when you miss a bid because you're distracted or not paying attention, or when you are so disengaged from your partner or emotionally shut down or avoidant, you don't even notice them anymore. The Gottman's initial research suggested that a ratio of 5 turning towards bids to each turning against bid was needed for relationship satisfaction. Their most recent research is suggesting that this ratio may actually be more like 20 to 1. And that may explain why so many relationships are in trouble these days. When I discussed bids and turns with Mark and Lisa, it became quickly apparent that they were no longer responding by turning towards each other's bids. They were so resentful and disengaged that any time one partner made a request or bid for attention or interest, the other ignored it or responded in a critical or demeaning way. I gave them a homework assignment to start paying attention to each other's bids and to make a mindful effort to turn toward a bid while actively trying to reduce the incidence of turning against or away. Initially, they found this to be very difficult, but they understood the importance of changing this as a way to improve their relationship and their communication, and eventually their efforts paid off.